there is one very interesting analysis of PED. So let's do that right here on the side of where we've been working. And that has to do with your expenditure. So when you buy a good or a service, let's say, so you spend money buying it. So your total expenditure behind a good is basically how much of it you're buying times the price of the good or service. So for example, if I'm buying 10 units of, I don't know, a bottle of Coke, let's say, and it's worth 65 taka, my total expenditure is 650 taka. Okay, so we don't really need this anymore. Let's focus on the formula. So let me write it down. Total expenditure is quantity times price. I'm just going to highlight this. Okay, now here's my question. This, if price of a good goes up, what happens? Total expenditure. Okay. And this is a very interesting question because let's look at the formula again. T is equal to Q times P. Now, what we know is that P is going up. The law of demand tells us that as P is going up, as price is going up, quantity demanded will be going down. Now the question is, as price is going up, what happens to total expenditure? And that depends entirely upon the elasticity. So let me write this down. If the demand of the good is elastic, it is elastic. What does that mean? Is that due to 1% rise in price, QD will fall by more than 1%. So as a result, if I write this equation again, Q into P, if P changes, and the change is that price is going up by 1%, quantity is going to go down, but by more than 1%. As a result, what's going to happen is that total expenditure is going to fall. So for example, this is just an example. Suppose Q equals to 100 and P equals to 100. And as a result, total expenditure is 10,000. Now, suppose price go up by 10%. And since we have an elastic demand curve, QD goes down by 20%. As a result, the new total expenditure that we are going to have is going to be quantity, which is 80 times price, which is going to be 110. And so if we calculate this, what we are going to see is this is 8,800. So total expenditure has gone down because the good was elastic. However, if the demand is inelastic, if demand is inelastic, what happens? Mm, Due to 1% rise in price, QD falls by less than 1%. So let's take a look at the same example once again. So suppose Q is equals to 100, P is equals to 100, and total expenditure is therefore 10,000. But now what happens is that price goes up by the same amount, let's say, so 10%, but now Q falls, but by less than 10%, so suppose 5%. As a result, the new total expenditure is going to be Q times price. So that is 95 times 110, which is equal to how much? 10,400. Okay, let me just use the calculator quickly and figure it out. So we have 95 times 110. So yeah, so 10,450. So you see that your total expenditure has gone up. So effectively, when you know that price of a good is changing, either going up or going down, and you want to figure out that as a result of this change in price, what is going to happen to your total expenditure behind this good. All you need to take a look at is the elasticity of demand. And if demand is elastic, a rise in price will lead to a fall in expenditure, and vice versa. A fall in price will lead to a rise in total expenditure. And if the good is inelastic, then what you're going to see is that a rise in price will lead to a rise in total expenditure, and a fall in price will lead to a fall in total expenditure. Now, here's what I am going to do. That's all I'm going to talk about on this topic. What I am going to leave you guys with is a formula for total revenue. So now if you guys have done any courses in accounting or finance, you guys already know this. So total revenue for a firm is quantity, how much of a good you're selling, multiplied by the price at which you are selling. Okay, now suppose, so this is for company X, let's say. So company X wants to increase price. They have, well, not they, the good that they sell, the good that they sell has an elastic demand. So the question is, therefore, should company X increase price? So of course, we haven't talked about total revenue and whatnot, but if you guys have understood this explanation right here, you should be able to solve this as well. So I'm just going to leave this right here as a practice problem, and hopefully you guys can solve it on your own.